Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, March 25th, and we are back again with another grammar lesson of the day. So today we're going to go back to that same passage we were working on Monday, and we're going to go ahead and finish it out, and then we're going to start a new grammar passage today. So let's go ahead and get our grammar passage out. And just like before, we're going to be working on this grammar passage right here, rain falling in the Sonoran Desert. So I'll give you a couple seconds to get that out. All right, so we're gonna go over our central idea really quickly. Central idea was, even though rain in the Sonoran Desert is rare, it is also helpful, right? We gotta remember our central idea because as we know, we are revising using arms today, adding, removing, moving, or substituting, depending on what the sentence calls for. So we went ahead and did questions 1, 2, and 3 already on Monday. So today we're gonna focus on questions 3, 4, and 5. As always, we're going to read those questions first. And if you need a little reminder of cups and arms is right here on the edge. Ethan does not think that sentence 9 is appropriate for this assignment. He does not think the tone is appropriate for his audience. How should he change the sentence? All right. So Ethan doesn't think sentence 9 is appropriate. The tone. The tone is how it's written, right? So this is a pretty formal piece of writing. He's not writing this to his friend, so it needs to be written in a little bit formal way. And I think he thinks the tone is inappropriate or not formal enough for this type of writing. So as always, we're gonna go back to sentence 9. We're gonna read that sentence and then see kind of why the sentence is not appropriate and then see which one of these best can replace it. So if you were following, we are substituting, replacing, removing a sentence. When the water mixes with the heat coming off the desert, watch out because these really big clouds form. Maybe because of the watch out and these really big clouds. That seems a little bit informal to me, meaning it's not appropriate for writing like this, like for a report type writing. This would be okay to write a friend's letter, but not for a report. So let's go back and see. We need to talk about how the water mixes with the heat of the desert and it forms clouds, okay? When the water mixes with the heat coming off the desert, large clouds form. Okay, we have our subject, the water, what is it doing? Mixing, and then whatever happens, the large clouds form. I think that's fine, question mark. The water coming in and mixes with heat off the desert, and then boom, these large clouds form. I think the then boom part right there, it's a little bit informal, right? Sounds like you're talking to a friend. I'm gonna cross that one out. When the water mixes with the heat coming off the desert, all of a sudden, these really big clouds form. What am I gonna say about this? I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to think about it. What am I gonna say about this one? If you said that they repeated the word like, you are correct. And the fact that they put like in the sentence, that makes it really informal. When we're talking, we can use that, but in writing, we shouldn't be repeating and like, and like, and like, that's not formal. What's cool is that water mixes with the heat coming off the desert and then really big clouds form. So this one grammatically is correct as well. What's cool, but is the tone of this paper casual? Like, is he talking to someone, or is the tone of the paper more formal? I think Ethan wants the tone of his paper to be more formal because he said the other sentence wasn't appropriate, and adding what's cool there is not correct. So our correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, is F. F is correct. And I know because, as always, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to write your IKB. And then we're going to compare it with mine. So go ahead and write your IKB now. How do you know that F is the correct answer? So I know because this excuse me, sentence is the most formal and doesn't include casual words. Excuse me again. So what do I mean by casual words? Really, like, cool, those are casual words. This sentence, when the water mixes with the heat coming off the desert, large clouds form. Very straightforward, informational. It's not giving us those casual words. So that's the most formal sentence. That's the most appropriate. Let's go ahead to number 5. Ethan wants to add one more supporting sentence to paragraphs containing sentences 11 through 15. He wants to add the sentence after sentence 14. Which would be the best supporting sentence for this paragraph? All right, that's a lot to unpack there, guys. So he wants to add a more supporting sentence, one more supporting sentence in paragraphs that contain lines 11 through 15. And it's asking which would be the best supporting sentence for this paragraph. Now, supporting sentences are kind of like supporting details within a paragraph, right? It's not the main idea, the topic sentence. It is what are the supporting sentences that go with that topic sentence. So before I answer this, I need to understand what paragraph 11 through 15 is talking about, right? That's the first thing we need to do. So let's go back and look at 11 through 15. And we should have an overview because we've read this a couple times now. I think it's talking about the helpfulness of the rain, but I'm going to read it again. I'm not going to remember. I'm going to read it again just to make sure. The rain in these thunderstorms affects the Sonoran in many ways. Rain helps the desert plants like saguaro cactus. It also helps the animals that live in the desert. The desert rain even helps shape the land by feeding rivers like the Colorado River and the Gila River. Summer rain helps erode rocks, create canyons, and other beautiful natural features. All right, so I am correct. This is the one that says it helps, it helps, it helps. So it's talking about how the rain helps the Sonoran Desert, okay? They said they wanted to add that sentence after sentence 14. So I'm gonna read sentence 14. The desert rain even helps shape the land by feeding rivers in the Colorado River. Okay, so it's talking about what it does for the land. So let's go look and see if there's any sentences in here that talk about how it helps, because we know the main idea of that paragraph is talking about how the rain is helpful, right? Kangaroo rats are desert animals that never need to drink water since they get moisture from seeds that they eat. Is that talking about helping anything? Is it talking about helping the desert? No. Rain also helps people living in the desert by providing water to drink, grow crops, and raise animals. I see the word helps there, and it says people living in the desert. That's what our paragraph is talking about, as well as our whole passage. I'm gonna put a question mark. Rain is a type of precipitation, and the other types of precipitation include hail, snow, and sleet. Is this paragraph or this passage as a whole talking about anything else besides rain? Is it talking about hail or snow or sleet? No. Only talking about rain, so I don't want to include extra details. That's not necessary. The Mojave Desert, Chihuahuan Desert, and Great Basin Desert are deserts found in the United States. Is this passage talking about other deserts? No, it's focusing only on the Sonoran Desert, right? So I think that also doesn't make sense. That's an extra detail, and we're not adding any extra details. We're adding supporting sentences that support our main ideas. So the only one that is correct is B. Go ahead and put your IKB. So what I put is, I know because this is the only sentence that talks about how the rain helps the desert. None of the other, oh, we got a little fuzzy there. There we go. Sorry, guys. None of the other sentences talked about how the rain helped the desert. And we know that whole paragraph. It helps, it helps, it helps, it helps. So our supporting sentence has to talk about it helping the desert. All right. Move on to the last one. Ethan wants to add a concluding sentence in his selection. What is the best concluding statement to add at the end of the selection? What is the best concluding statement? Where do we hear that before? Concluding statement. Hint, hint. Think about something that we may have learned in our writing composition. Concluding statement is kind of like your conclusion, right? The end of your passage, the end of your essay. You're wrapping everything up. You're concluding what you're saying. Just like with question number 5, we're not adding any new information per se in our conclusion. Your conclusion is kind of summarizing everything that you talked about in the selection. We're not trying to incorporate new information. We're just kind of summarizing everything we said, wrap it up into a nice, cute, simple sentence, right? So let's go back. And to do this, what I always like to do is reread my central idea, because that's going to be similar. Just like we have our central idea in our compositions, our expository essays, and then you restate your central idea in your conclusion, same concept here. Even though rain in the Sonoran Desert is rare, it is also helpful, okay? I know what happens, how the rain forms, why it's helpful. Those are our 3 paragraph section close. So let's look back. It does not rain often in the Sonoran Desert, but when the changing winds bring storms each summer, falling rain plays an important part in the desert. Wow, okay. So rain is rare, it doesn't rain often. How it happens, the winds change. And when it happens, the rain is helpful, it plays an important role. I think all 3 parts of my central idea are there. I'm gonna give a question mark to that one, but we're never gonna stop at the first one, we're always gonna keep going. Besides deserts, the United States contain other types of environments, such as forests, prairies, beaches, and marshes. It didn't talk about forests, prairies, beaches, and marshes at all, right? It only talked about the Sonoran Desert. So this is adding new information, and I'm not giving you new information in my conclusion. A large part of the Sonoran Desert is found in the Mexican states of Sonora, Baja California, and Baja California Sur. It did mention a little bit about where the desert was, but I don't know if that was the biggest part. Also, this is the concluding sentence, and it's not telling me anything about the rain, right? It's just telling me the desert, and the rain was a big part of the sentence. I mean, the passage. Changes in wind also brings rains to parts of India that are normally dry. This one seems okay, but then I got a little confused, there we go again, about the India part. Did this passage talk about India at all? It talked about the Sonoran Desert in the United States. So that also doesn't make sense. So our correct answer, guys, is F. And let's do our I know because, IKB. As always, you go first. Sorry if you can hear the airplanes. I live near the airport, so it's a little loud. All right, so I put I know because this sentence my S is a little wonky there. Best summarizes the central idea. The central idea is best summarized in this sentence. This sentence best summarizes the central idea. All the other ones gave us new information. That's not what we needed. We needed a summary of everything we already learned. All right, go ahead and give yourselves 2 thumbs up. Maybe a pat, a little pat. You got it. We have done the first passage, and we're gonna go ahead and move on just a little bit to the second passage. We're not gonna answer any questions today, but we're gonna identify if it's revising or editing, and we're gonna try to come up with a central idea. And then on Friday, we're gonna get to the questions for this one. So just like we did last time, Whenever you get a new passage, you need to identify if you're revising or editing. And we do that by what, guys? Yeah, I heard it in the back. We do that by reading the directions because it's going to tell us in the directions. So let's go ahead and get those in right now. Let's get the directions in. Adelaide wrote this paper about the water and aquifers. She would like you to read her paper and look for any edits she needs to make. When you finish reading, answer the questions that follow. Ooh, look for the paper and look for any, ding, 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 edits. So I have my little handy dandy cups and arms here, and I know the edits is on the side of cups, capitalization, usage, punctuation, spelling. I'm gonna put cups right there because I'm looking for edits. Edits go with cups. Great. So let's see how I can make that. I'll just leave that right here to the side. Oh, let me do it like that. Boom. Mr. Martin is smart this morning. It's early, guys. Sorry for my light. You can kind of see. There we go. All right. So now we're going to read the rest of this passage, and we're thinking as we're reading, what is the central idea? What is this passage mostly talking about? What is this passage teaching us? What information is it giving us? What is my central idea? If I could sum it up into a quick, tight sentence or two. Some people in Texas get their water from lakes and rivers. Some get water from wells. However, some people get their water from deep underground places called aquifers. I feel like that's going to be important. Aquifers, yep, they repeated it, so it's important, are large bodies of water under the Earth's surface. The water in an aquifer, see, I'm repeating those words that keep coming up because that means they're going to be important, is held inside rocks. These rocks have holes in them that let water move through them. Water trickles down from the ground above it when it rains. The water collects an aquifer. The rocks create an underground pocket of water. The water comes back to the surface through springs. One aquifer in Texas is the Edward Aquifer. Water in this aquifer helps people who live in the central part of the state. Many people in cities like those in San Antonio, Texas, get their water from this aquifer. Aquifers must be protected since they are so important. When there's little rain, there's little water in an aquifer. There is also less water in an aquifer when people use too much of an aquifer's water. Some people worry that important aquifers may get so low that they will not bubble up from the springs as they do now. We need to use water wisely so that we can save these important sources of water. All right, so we see I highlighted aquifers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times. So the first thing in my central idea is going to be aquifers, right? So central idea. And what about aquifers? What is it teaching me about aquifers, right? Maybe some people get their water from those, what they are, and then this is why they're so important, right? So aquifers are underground, sources of water, right? They are important and must be protected. I'll read it again because I know my chicken scratch sometimes is difficult to read. Aquifers are underground sources of water. They are important and must be protected. I got that from here. It says they're underground sources of water. Here it kind of explains how they work, and then explains why they are important and why they must be protected. We're gonna stop here for today, guys, and when we come back on Friday, we're gonna move all into the questions, remembering that we're doing editing, which is cups. So I would suggest between now and Friday, you go back through and read and see if you can find any errors with capitalization, usage, punctuation, and spelling on your own. So then when we get to the questions, it'll be so much easier. So again, before now and Friday, I would go back, read this myself, and see if I can find. I saw some when I was reading it, but I didn't want to highlight them because I want you to find them. See if you can find any of the errors that are in here with editing. Thank you so much for listening this morning, and I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday.